Hey guys, today I'm gonna go over long-term investing in Pokemon and why it's really beneficial based on the data. Um, a lot of people don't really know this. Like they hear the like whole long-term, and it might not be Pokemon. It could be whole stocks long-term. It'll go up, and like I guess something more commonly people hear about is like the S&P 500, which is for stocks. But I guess for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically um S&P 500 is basically it's kind of an average of some of the best stocks in existence, and it's sort of a kind of safe investment in the sense of like you don't have to know anything about the market because you just have to do like this running average of the best stocks in the market, and generally goes up over time. So if you see like there's just like hard data for this sort of stuff, like it's out 2024, and it has like its many ups and downs, but over time, it does generally like, go upwards. And generally, people say like um, this goes up like I'd say like 7-10% depending on how you calculate it. There's a bunch of like finance particulars and stuff, and I'm not gonna go into all that because I'm not really that good at it. But generally, people say, hey, you don't know what to invest in, hold in S&P 500 long term in some way. Like there's different names for it, like VOO or whatever. I'm not gonna go into that, but it's generally a safe thing. Like there are more riskier things out there, and so like this just gets more and more investing land, and it's there's a sort of a mix how far should I go in the scope of that. And but the comparison of this is like okay, so like more one to one. So one of the best sets recently to invest in, if you and I say like recent as in the like kind of years, like the real winner was Evolving Skies. If I could find it. So look the past booster boxes, like you see like 200, 100, 100 something, 100 something, 100, 200 something. Like it's all hundreds and 200s. Future structures got 300, and then you have Evolving Skies, which is 900 something. And these aren't like perfect prices, but you could just see like nothing comes even close to that. Until you get to like quite like a bit older. And there's a date here, like Evolving Skies was 2021, and then Cosmic Eclipse was 2019. Even that was a pretty spectacular set. Like these two booster boxes, Cosmic Eclipse and Cleanup, they're also like very good sets. But even like before that, like nothing actually beats Evolving Skies for quite a while. So it's like a big outlier in a sense. And if I was to look at stocks, like there are some like if you invest in single stocks versus like index funds, you will find some stocks that perform really well. And there's always going to be something like that. Like there's going to be some Bitcoin does or some altcoin that does really well. And so like, um, if you, I think for finance perspective, like it's kind of just like if you know what you're doing, then maybe, but it's also a little luck based, and there's a lot of people who get it wrong. And so if you want to hedge your bets a little bit, you basically like diversify, and diversification one strategy is to do the S&P 500. So there is data out there to suggest that a safe way to approach booster boxes, if you don't actually want to do a lot of research, is to just buy kind of a little bit of everything. Like you could take like an even approach, literally buy like a certain number of each booster box. Some people do like a little bit split, like if they think like Paldea is gonna do better than Screenify base, they'll buy more of that. But generally like they'll try to invest in a good amount each of them so that they can like just reap the benefits because they're like I don't know what they say is like I don't know it's gonna do well, and generally that's kind of what I hear from most people. They're like I don't really know what the market's gonna do. But the thing that most people say with Pokemon booster boxes, in particular, like I had to stress English booster boxes, is that they always go up. And you kind of see that in trends. Like you can usually get a booster box around 90 to 100, let's say 110. And if I go just do the less, like nothing goes like less than that generally. So like 200, all these are 100s. So Sword and Shield is still relatively new, but still like 100s, and there's 200s, there's 100s, and then there's a 300, 900, 200, like 100, 100, 200, 300. And then that's the end of Sword and Shield. So that's like the last error. And then also I covered kind of that. And then you get the error before that, which was, um, I think that this is Sun and Moon. Yeah, Sun and Moon has these 12 boxes because each series of sets, which is expands usually at 2 years, has its own sets, and that's where you get like another like price increase. You get like 1,000, 700, 700 to 2,500, 600, 800, 500, 700, 200, 400, 400, 300. You see, like there's a big price jump. Like there's a few ones that are kind of low. Like these four are kind of low relatively, but then these are like a lot more. And then so like that spans from years 2017 to 2019. So like I said, 2 years, and then you go to the next set, which is these 12, and you get like 900, 2000, 300, 600, 600, 700, 1200, 700, 600, 2000. So you just see like, but like if I so like you see within each set of 12, there's some variation. Like some of them are high flyers, they go close to like over 500, or they go close to over 1,000, or they go multiple thousands. Some of them stay kind of, even if they're really old, they stay kind of in that like 200 to like 400 kind of range. Um, and then like there's not really enough data to go over this, but yeah, there's some more things, and this is where you get like they're clearly over thousands of dollars. But you see like none of them have gone down below like below generally like 200 or 300. Like a lot of them have gone way up, but generally like if you hold long enough, what you see is that you won't lose money. And that's sort of like, and that's why if you took kind of an average, like you'd be able to be like, oh well, if I took an average, I would have been pretty good, because if you take any set of 12, you would say, oh, if I took the average of, like this is Scarlet and Violet. There's only 8 so far. We take the average of that. You're like, okay, I do okay, but like that, it's kind of too early to tell. But like the results get, but the results for Sword and Shield, like except for one guys, they're all still kind of around the same price as well. And so like the diversification, like you don't get like it's like okay, but it's not as good. And then so I'm gonna give you like a different take on this from like a video I just saw that came out like just pretty recently. So I'm not really that good at this. So I've always wanted to be able to do this, but like it's just a lot of data. I'm not really that good at that. But it's very blurry. I think even if I okay, actually this one's a little better. So this is a YouTube channel, live stream or whatever. So his channel is Nostalgianomics, and he has these two finance YouTubers. And what he did is that he actually took the data. He's like, okay, so if I took the price, I assume it's $105 because that's usually a safe starting price for most booster boxes. And what he did is that he took like, I told you like sets of 12. So there's X, Y, Sun and Moon, and Sword and Shield. And he said, okay, well if I start at 105, and he took like the most recent sale of each booster box, and he said, okay, what's the appreciation? And then he has a release date. So this first one was about 2014, and so that's about 10 years ago. And he said, okay, so if I take the appreciation of that, I get this return on interest. So, like if you got a booster box from 10 years ago, you see like 3,000%, like 1,900%, like 800%, 500%, 1,000. And then he takes this what they call ATM video. It's like pretty much the S&P 500, and he compares to that. So he does that for all these, and he does some averaging or whatever. I tell you, I'm not like a finance guy like this deep, but like I'm assuming he does some like correct averaging stuff. But you'd have to go through the numbers yourself. I'm not really that guy for you. And then it's very blurry in these next ones, but I think even if I like zoom it out, so he said for XY your appreciation is about 1,000%. And so what this means is that since these sets came out, let's say 10 or 11 years ago, 1,000% increase over like 10, 11 years, that's about 100% per year. And like that's like telling you like if you buy like like Scarlet Vi says like next year they'll definitely be like 200, which is not definitely the case. Like they'll definitely redouble. But the thing is, like, it's practically like if you didn't sell all that time, it's practically as if it just kept like increasing its original value, like over all the years, which is like pretty crazy. So that's like the effect if you take the average, like return all these booster boxes, and then like for the next one, which is Sun and Moon, like this was released like I think 7 years ago. So the return on this is about 700% as well. It's kind of hard to say, but there's a 600, 800, so that's about 700. So it's also about 100% return per year. And like there are ways to like go compare it to like there's like taxes, there's other things, but like that's crazy. Even if you like decrease it to half, like okay, taxes and all these other things, it takes out to 50%. Like that's still like so much. Like it's not as if I'm telling you like, oh, like it's only like S&P 500 is only this one. It's like oh, you only doubled your money, and like this one you 3 times your money. So like that's similar. No, this is like 10 times your money versus like double your money in this case, which is like pretty crazy. And then you see a case where like the appreciation isn't as high for Sword and Shield, and but it's much clearer here. But you see like average Sword and Shield, even with Evolving Sky doing so well, is only about like 150% appreciation. So yeah, like if you compare it to stocks, like I could be like taking off like maybe that means like it's up 50% or something, but like yeah, like it's more, but like it's like Sword and Shield's been out for like since like 2020 or something. Like I have the Pokemon list, so Sword and Shield, like if you take the very extreme, like it came out in 2020. That's like 4 years ago. So 4 years divided by like this 150% return. Oh wait, no, this is the wrong one. This like 150% return, like it's like divided by four, 150 divided by four. Assuming like I'm doing the math right or whatever, it's like only like 30-40%, which is like still kind of good, but like yeah, it's like 30, 40, 50% is nowhere close to like 100. So like what people are starting to see, and this is why people are investing in Sword Shield right now. It's still a viable investment, and anything's kind of a viable investment. But like if you know what you're doing, but this is why like some YouTube channels are like, yeah, these Sword Shield boxes should be, a lot of them should be at least 250, maybe $1,000, because they saw what happened in X and Y and Sun and Moon, and they're like, it's very likely that the numbers are gonna match if you hold it long enough. Because like with Sword and Shield, like what people don't know is that like even though I say at this point this 4 years and this much appreciation, like even like within these 4 years, it didn't necessarily do that. Like there are ups and downs because like in the first few years that the set's out, it's like there's like reprints and stuff that put the price up and down. But at some point, like people will open the boxes enough that like supply will go down, and then like there won't be enough on the market. Like like it's kind of hard to get a lot of these older boxes because people aren't selling them. And so like this is just like if you sell early, like it's not necessarily saying you shouldn't sell early. It's just like but still like you kind of want to keep this potential in mind, in case you ever do want to hold. Because like and then this like because it's not as simple as just hold all the time. Sometimes you need or even pull all your money in Pokemon because there are some more like financial like savvy things that you kind of want to know about, and also your situation also varies. So this isn't necessarily saying go all in on Pokemon. Um, but it's just something to keep in mind, like because it's important to know like if there's potential or not. If there's no potential in Pokemon, then like I would say don't do it. But like this is like a lot of years of data. This is like 10 years of data that's already there, and like so that's kind of what like Ali's finance people, because these two guys over here, they don't really know much about Pokemon, but they're the types who just look at the numbers and like they look for opportunities. They're like, hey, this seems like a good investment. I don't know much about Pokemon, but like the numbers seem good. Like this guy bought Evolving Skies like $300-$400, and like he's not into Pokemon, but he was like, yeah, the numbers seem good, so I'll buy it. And I was like, oh, 1,000. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to like kind of tell you. Like I showed you like this more. This is data driven as well, but this is more like a general thing. Like you can kind of see like, hey, it seems to do okay, but like I'm not doing average street. Like he actually did the averages. And yeah, so I hope this helps. I'll like the channel. Yeah, like if I see stuff on our channels, like I did another video where I'm kind of responding to this to like stuff, is like I want to like pass on the information. But also like I'd recommend like some of the I didn't watch like some of the content after about like 15-20 minutes might not be as useful to you. But I'd say like if you don't know much about Pokemon investing and why people are into investing, like I would watch like at least like the first 10 to 20 minutes of this, because it goes over like, oh, like it's different than traditional markets because there's a lot of people who aren't experienced. Because I'm telling you, if you're new to the market, this is what everyone experienced is saying. We're in a bull market right now, and Pokemon has cycles, and the bull market will last usually somewhere between like 1, 2, 3. Like there's some amount of years, but it is eventually not everything will go up. Right now, if you're in Pokemon and you buy, a lot of your stuff will go up. At some points, stuff will stop going up, and the thing is like so stores will so Pokemon cannot print enough stuff right now, and the stores will are like they they're trying to order as much as they can. And so what basically happens is that when you order from Pokemon, you have to say, okay, I want like 10,000 boxes of the latest set. So I want 10,000 boxes of Surging Sparks. And then like, ha ha ha, yeah, I'm only giving you like 100. And then, but the thing is, if you only ask for 100, then they'll give you like 10. Like they're only going to give you some fraction of the amount. At some points, the demand for Pokemon is going to wane, and or the supply for Pokemon is gonna go up. And at that point, like one day, they're actually gonna say, okay, here are your 10,000 boxes. Like that's kind of exaggeration. Maybe it's more like 1,000 boxes. And the thing is, like, the demand's not gonna be high enough or whatever that the price is gonna be down. So first of all, maybe you didn't have enough money to actually pay for that order because you were just like, oh, I'm just playing with numbers. Like, I don't actually have enough money for 10,000 boxes, but like I have enough money for 1,000, and so I'm happy to take 1,000. And then so you might not be able to pay the person to ruin the relationship. It's not just like a morals thing. It's like they're not gonna work with you anymore, and they're gonna cancel your contract. Like there's actual repercussions. And if you do pay for it, so either like you're not gonna pay for it because you can't, or you do pay for it, and you're not gonna be able to sell it. And then at that point, the prices are gonna plummet because demand's going to go down, and people who are in Pokemon just for the quick buck and not for the long term investment are going to exit the market, and prices are going to drop again. This happens like over and over and over again in cycles. So the people who make out the best are the people who are well capitalized enough that they can hold and just wait it out and like maybe even so that buy more so that they can like get it when it's low. And like people here are saying like buy like sell high, buy low. That's when the low is gonna be, and the low could happen for like any number of years. Like for the bear market of Pokemon, it was like 2022, 23 about maybe the end of 2021. And so like Pokemon, like there's not a lot of interest in it, and you could buy Pokemon very easily. Not like now where like people are buying like instantly. So that will happen. And basically, if you want to survive in this hobby and make these like 100% gains over like all your years, you have to buy and you have to hold, and you have to like it's gonna be stressful or whatever, but you have to like somehow keep your mind off it and be like, okay, I have all these booster boxes, I'm not under pressure to sell, just leave it in somewhere. At some point, it's gonna go up and just ignore it. So this is just sort of also kind of a warning. It's like if you haven't seen this before, um, I would possibly watch if you don't want to, if you have a hard time finding data. So it's not one of my most popular videos, but I would look at this Pokemon video. I'll link this also below. If you want to know about the patterns of Pokemon, I'd watch this video where I go over a channel called Alpha Investments, and he goes like it goes over like the cycles of Pokemon. Like, oh, this keeps happening over again. It's a big hype. People buy in, they get hurt, and some people sell out, and some people hold. So this guy got lucky and he held, but that's just because he couldn't sell it anything, and he didn't want to sell out to a low price. And then he realized that Pokemon's a lot stronger than you think of. So anyway, this went a little longer than I wanted, but I hope you guys have a good day, and thanks. Bye.